Okay, what's going on, MMA fans? This is a video that I have been wanting to do for a long time. I did one before. I believe Mark the Miz replied to it. It was called MMA, the Scoring System. That video took place after the Rashad Evans-Michael Bisping fight. This video is going to just cover and entail some things that need to be either altered, changed, or something that a lot of us here in the MMA community, I know Mike has talked about it, I know Jeremy talked about it before he left, Chris Archangel is probably one of the bigger guys about it, because he's talked about it off and on, but all the things I'm going to talk about are going to fuel the reasons of why there needs to be either a global or continental MMA unifying body. We've seen in the last couple of fights in CBS Elite XC, we've seen even in the past, yesterday's UFC 85, the differences in judging and even in reffing. If you look at Dan Miragliotta from the CBS fights and look at the Dan Miragliotta of UFC 85 fights, which were yesterday, two totally different guys. Hell, I could even barely recognize the guy other than the fact that I know what Dan Miragliotta looks like, because he reffed in two different ways. Totally different. And this is an issue that has been going on in this sport for a long time. We've seen disparities in judging in different organizations throughout different states. We've seen disparities in drug testing, which stems all the way down from California, which they've had, and I'm going to count to you now, 5 instances of this. They've had 3 instances of where MMA organizations are suing them, and 2 instances of where MMA fighters are suing them. California is a serious issue when it comes to their athletic commission. We've seen disparities in the way that fighters are treated with in one state for suspensions and in another state for suspensions. All these come together and culminate into the ultimate problem that we run into, and that's that each state and each athletic commission has their own set of rules and their own different rules, which is an issue when it comes to this sport, because you can go to one place and be judged one way and go to another place and be judged one way. MMA in whole should be judged based upon submission attempts, takedowns, striking. That's how it should have been judged from the get-go. But yet we see this boxing aspect of a 10-point must system, which is an issue. Look at how Pride scored fights. Look at how Dream scores fights. I think that is the appropriate way with some minor alterations. But we see in different events and different places that the reffing is horrible, that the judging has ended up being horrible because it's in different areas on different nights. Somebody's got a different interpretation of what this rule means here, but in Missouri or California we have a different interpretation of what the rule means there. This is something that needs to be corrected. And, you know, Nuker, sometimes I don't agree with a lot of his comments and his points, but he made an excellent point in his CBS Elite XC video, not his review video, the one where he talked about the issues, was about the British Medical Association, the BMA, wanting to outlaw boxing and even mixed martial arts. And you know why they want to do this, and the fuel that they have is what I'm talking about. There is not enough sanctioning that is equal all the way across the board. It's different in different places. You have different people reffing, different people judging. You get Cecil Peoples on one night reffing and on another night judging. And even Cecil Peoples is all over the board. There's nights where he judges right, and there's nights where he judges wrong. And I think a lot of people can agree with that. And I'm not just calling out Cecil Peoples. You've got guys, Nelson Hamilton, that's had issues in the past with judging. Dan Miragliotta as a ref has had issues with reffing. Steve Mazzagatti has had issues at some points in his reffing, and he's one of the better referees. And I want to get something out, is that no one is perfect on every night. And I understand that. No one's perfect. Hell, I'm not even perfect. You know, when I do these predictions, I do it based upon my knowledge and what I think is going to happen in the fight. But that doesn't always mean that what I think is always going to play out. That doesn't always mean that what a ref thinks or what a judge does is always going to play out right. But you can margin down the margin of error and make the results better. And I think that's where, when you hear a lot of the guys here on the YouTube community for MMA say we need to have a global sanctioning body or a continental sanctioning body that unifies the rules, and we don't have these issues anymore, because you can see it. You can see the issues. And I challenge you, go watch the CBS fights, go watch the WEC fights, and go watch the UFC fights. And you will see disparities in each one. They may be minor and they may be different, but you will see disparities. And those small disparities are the issue that we're running into here. You can't have someone saying that that's how the rule is in one state and go to Missouri and that's how the rule is in this state. It's either going to be one way or the other. And if it's not going to be like that, this sport is going to start having issues. And you're already seeing it. And that's something that's sad. It's something that's really, really sad, when this sport is probably one of the greatest sports in the world, in my opinion. So, let me know what you think. Guys in the MMA community, feel free to do a response video to this, because I think this is very important. I think that this is something that we have discussed in the past. And, I went on to a rant about this, but it's definitely an issue. And it is really, really something that I think will be a problem later down the road, even though it isn't something right now unless it's dealt with. And look at California right now. I mean, Armando Garcia's got some serious issues on his hands, and they've got lawsuits all over the place. So, what are they going to do? You got New Jersey, who's new to the MMA spectrum in a whole, and it shows. States like Ohio, that were not newer but haven't had as many events there, it shows. There needs to be more training, there needs to be a sanctioning body, and there needs to be better all-around rules for this sport, and it shows. So, let me know what you think. Like I said, guys, do a response video to this. I don't think it's at the point now that it's critical, but I think somewhere down the road this is going to become to be an even more larger issue if fights continue like this. And the outside world looks at this sport in a bad limelight. It calls it human cockfighting. If this continues, we could see ourselves in a bad spot here in a couple years. So, like I said, leave me some comments, some ideas towards this. Leave me some response videos. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.